Does my child need the vaccine, given that COVID doesn't seem to be presenting as severely in kids in that 5 to 11 age group?
Great question, when we kind of address that right away, because we've been saying for a year and a half that kids have an innate immunity, and the younger you are, the less likely to get severe disease, but it's not zero risk, so there's really good reasons to get it. It's the 8th most common cause of death at that age group. It's not common, but it happens. You're trying to prevent primary COVID and lung disease, plus the long hauler syndrome. Again, uncommon, but it happens, and multi-inflammatory system disease in children. But there's other reasons too. I think it makes real sense for a lot of my families to get it. If they have the vaccine and they get exposed at school, they won't have to quarantine. And we know how bad it is for children who were not in school, how horrible it was academically but also emotionally. If they get exposed, my kids who play sports, they're not going to have to miss playing sports for a couple weeks. There's also the issue of grandma and everybody else. In a lot of families, the biggest risk to the family is the child themselves.
Will the pediatric vaccine help end this pandemic?
I think the pediatric vaccines will get us closer to ending the pandemic, but it's not an issue of an endpoint and end the pandemic. I've heard some people talk about we'll feel in a much better place when the pandemic with COVID-19 becomes like the flu. And it isn't right now, but it comes like the flu, that you get cases each year, that rarely people get really sick, but not to these epidemic, pandemic points of view. So this will help us get there.
What should parents know about this risk of myocarditis, this inflammation of the heart muscle in boys and young men?
It seems to be associated with levels of testosterone. And who has the highest levels? 17 and 18-year-olds, although it's still really low, and it's not as bad as if you get the real disease. First of all, the kids are less risk because they don't have high testosterone, the boys. The second thing is that the dose is much lower. It's 1/3 the dose, so much less side effects. They tested it on 3,100 kids, no significant side effects at all. The most common things, some muscle aches, some headaches, fatigue, pain at the vaccination site, but really much less because A, they're younger, and B, because the dose is so much lower. Getting myocarditis from COVID is a lot more serious than getting myocarditis from the vaccine. On the other hand, an individual mother or father will say, okay, if you get COVID, that happens, but I'm not actually going out of my way to bring my child in to get a shot, and then they get it. And I've heard a lot of parents say it's hard to live with themselves if they actually brought a healthy child in and they got that side effect. Really, the risk of myocarditis at this age is negligible.
So polling is suggesting that there's this hesitancy among parents to get their younger kids vaccinated, even if they're vaccinated and their teenagers are vaccinated. What do you say to them?
We need to be very respectful of people's fears, and that very smart people and parents and great parents may feel this isn't right for their child. And that's their decision, and I respect that. And I just want to keep the dialogue going, because we see them often and we can kind of touch base and see what they're thinking.
Hi, I'm Shirley.
And I'm Regina Mitchell. For more videos like this, subscribe to WHYY.